11 o'clock, three-man front. Rodney Orr of Tider Insider joining us momentarily. We'll talk Alabama football, Alabama basketball as they take on Michigan Friday night. That would be tomorrow night. They're in the United Center of the Sweet 16. We got games tonight. Last night, Auburn in the NIT, a winner over Nevada. Auburn advances to the NIT semifinals. That will take place next Thursday there in Indianapolis at Hinkle Fieldhouse. Got to tell you about our friends at Manipulation Fitness. Your first visit is free, and they'll put you through the workout. It's all FDA approved, and what's revolutionary about this approach to fitness, working out, feeling better about yourself is the time span, the technology. All FDA approved, as I mentioned, but it's only a 15-minute workout because of the technology and the electric pulses they're sending to various muscle groups is equivalent to 6 hours in a gym. You can't beat it. Now that the warmer weather is here, less clothes, you want to feel better about yourself, you can certainly do it at Mandu. First visit's free, MANDUU.com, MANDUU.com. Always tell Paul and the gang there in Homewood that Landrum sent you.
A couple of headlines before we go to Tuscaloosa and talk to Rodney Orr from Tider Insider. Word is coming out of Raleigh, North Carolina, that Will Wade is going to be the next head coach of the LSU Bengal Tigers. Not a very big surprise there, as LSU hired a new assistant AD earlier this morning who happened to be the AD who hired Will Wade at McNeese. So he's now in the building at LSU. So that is leading to much speculation that this deal is going to get done today between Will Wade and LSU.
If you're NC State, you want to bring a guy back that played collegiately there in the state. How about Bobby Hurley? He's looking for something to do.
Mm-hmm.
Get a Duke guy to go and head up that program?
That would be very interesting, to say the very least. Meanwhile, Alabama's getting ready for Michigan tomorrow night. I saw a story that John Rothstein reported last night, which I thought was interesting because I didn't think he would be with the team, but John Rothstein reported that Alabama's Aiden Holloway did not travel with the team to Chicago.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Please correct me if I'm wrong here, but he's not a student at the University of Alabama. Why would he be traveling with the team?
I don't know.
It was just
Pat, you're not the only one.
I didn't get that.
I'm not criticizing, but I was like you. Was that was on the table?
Was that a question? Okay.
I mean, traveling period. I couldn't see him going to Chicago just to watch as a fan.
I'm not being
with what's going on right now.
I'm not being a smart aleck. I'm just asking a serious question.
Can he?
If you were accused of a felony, are you allowed to travel outside of the jurisdiction in which you are being accused?
Doesn't he need the court to approve any travel?
That's what I thought.
That's what I thought too.
Okay.
Well, do they have to approve it though? Because he hasn't been found guilty. It's not like he's only been charged. So it's not like he's awaiting sentence where they tell him, hey, you're going to stick around.
But it's like most investigations. What do they always tell you? At least in TV.
Yeah.
They tell you, hey,
don't go anywhere.
Am I being accused of something? Am I being charged?
Yeah.
No, just don't go anywhere.
Stay
in the vicinity.
You just stay in the area for a few days.
Yeah.
We conclude our investigation.
Yesterday down in Alabama Pro Day, as spring practice continues. Let's talk to Rodney Orr from Tider Insider. He joins us on the program. Rodney, I hope you're well on this Thursday.
Rodney had a better chance of traveling with the team.
Yes.
I don't know about that. I'm doing well, guys. How are the both of you?
We are doing well as Major League Baseball kicks off today. So we're two big baseball fans. So at least for my team, I'm excited today. Might not be excited tomorrow, but we will see, being a St. Louis Cardinal fan. But let's talk football. Ty Simpson, all reports yesterday from a lot of national folks that was your feelings on what you've seen, what you've heard as he prepares himself for the draft.
Kind of like what we said before the NFL Combine. What a great setting for Ty. I mean, I thought he would shine at the Combine, and so this is really, would not be a surprise either. I mean, Ty can do all those things, and that they're asking him to do in that setting, and it's perfect for him. And he did a great job. And look, it's obvious more and more that he's going to be not only a first-round draft pick, but it looks like, potentially a very high first-round pick. We'll see. These things can change, as you know. But it does look like Ty's positioned himself really, really well and made a good decision to to move on.
With the video clip, and I'm guessing that you saw it. I was just wondering what your subscribers there at Tider Insider of one Ryan Williams attempting to catch that deep ball to his hands.
That's Ryan Coleman Williams.
Or I'm sorry, Ryan Coleman.
Please,
Williams.
hyphenated.
It's new to me.
Okay,
Ryan Coleman Williams. How much reaction did that get, or did you see that clip that we?
I didn't see the clip, Landrum. Matter of fact, I didn't even see any response to it. There might have been some. I might have missed that. Obviously I missed it if there was. But now I will tell you, just kind of the buzz from the first week of spring was that Ryan was back on the last part of some circus, some in that ball. Ryan ball.
Just video from you. He was catched by Simpson and dropped by Ryan incessantly. Some good. But let's talk. You hearing is going to be the guy who came alive as was dropping.
You kind of look at him as a replacement for Isaiah Horton. And the things that I've heard there, guys, is that Noah Rogers is actually a more willing blocker. And if you know this system and what they're looking for in their wide receivers, they're looking for guys who are willing to block. And it sounds like that, maybe there was some inconsistencies there with the willingness to block with Isaiah last year. Obviously, he made a lot of big plays, but Rico brings that. Obviously, Lightseer Brooks is back. He's a big playmaker, had a great ending to his freshman year. Derek Meadows is a guy that brings that size that we saw, what he could do in a couple of opportunities that he got. Unfortunately, he was injured in the Missouri game. And I think, there's a lot of excitement about Cedarian Morgan, the big physical target that they signed. Some people had him a five-star rated player out of Benjamin Russell. Just think his size and he's 6'4", he's 220 plus pounds, and he can go up and catch the ball, beat defenders, up in the air. So I think there's a lot of really buzz about that in a positive way at the wide receiver core.
How many of the progress reports have you been getting? We're going to ask you about it every time that you're on. What with the offensive line, because that was such a point of contention for that offense and that team last year.
Yeah, that's funny because I've gotten a couple of reports on the quarterbacks, but those two quarterbacks, I know you're probably getting to that, and they were really positive reports. And my question was, okay, well, that's great, but can they protect them? And they said, well, that's the question. We just don't know yet. There's a lot of good pieces. They seem confident with those guys. Obviously they're really confident apparently in Jackson Lloyd to have named him the starter over there at left tackle. But they have some other pieces that they feel good about. I think Rayson Delgatti at center feel really good about what he's shown, the transfer from Cal Poly. Now here's the thing. I don't know how much work they're moving guys around. Javen James was a 9-game starter at left tackle for Mississippi State. I've heard he has worked some at right tackle, which is where, of course, the lone returning starter, Michael Carroll, is. But you remember Grubb said that he has so much versatility, Carroll, that they could play basically anywhere on the offensive line. And I know that a lot of people felt like he was a natural guard. So it's going to be interesting to see how they position those guys. Does Carroll move inside? Maybe Javen James at right tackle. They've even worked Nick Brooks, I think, over there a little bit, the transfer from Texas, who could be the left guard. He could play in either guard spot. So it's going to be interesting to see how they eventually get positioned. But it does sound like that they're encouraged with the progress that those new faces have shown.
All right, so great segue. You mentioned it, so I'll ask you right now, what's the distinguishing factors or the differences between Austin Mack and Keelan Russell?
Heard again, was it Tuesday, both those guys look really good. I mean, I know that's positive, but it's what I hear that they're extraordinarily talented, both of them. And I would say if there is maybe a distinguishing factor, and I don't know how much that is right now, but I had heard earlier that the one thing that really kind of maybe gave Austin Mack some sort of an advantage was the time he had in the system. He just was more comfortable with, making checks at the line of scrimmage, checking the protections, whatever it is that you do, that he just was a little ahead in that area. But again, I think everyone knows that Keelan Russell is extraordinarily gifted too. And I've heard that both of them have really shined in the 5 practices that they've had so far.
Rodney Orr, Tighter Insider, continues to join us on three-man front and joining us on the Higginbotham hotline. Switching over to basketball, Nate Oates, the Crimson Tide, very impressive first weekend in the NCAA tournament. They take on the giant that is Michigan tomorrow night. They're in the United Center. Rodney, when you look at Alabama, the way that they've been playing, you look at the strength of this Michigan team. How do you see this one shaking out?
Well, it's obviously everyone favors Michigan. They're 33-3. They're big. They do everything basically well. They dominate the boards. They shoot the ball well. They do occasionally have trouble, turning the ball over. So maybe Alabama defensively, if they can continue to play with the aggressiveness that they have, force some turnovers. Alabama's going to obviously have to shoot the ball extremely well from 3. And I haven't had a great chance to watch Michigan this year, but my understanding is that the games they've lost, they just haven't shot the ball well from 3, and so Alabama's going to have to defend that really well, and hopefully come up with a lot of breaks because it's going to be a real tall order. But now I will say this too. This Alabama team seems to be playing with a ton of chemistry right now. We've seen a lot of players emerge. Aiden Sherrill obviously has come a long way. We've seen Noah Williamson even step up. We've seen, Bo Bowen, now that he's recovered from injury, has become a factor. And those guards are really explosive. So I got a hunch, guys, that this is going to be a much closer game than maybe some expect. I mean, I think Alabama, now again, I would certainly favor Michigan, to be honest with you. But I do think Alabama's playing extraordinarily well right now.
Before we let you go, speaking of basketball, there has been a little bit of smoke coming out of Chapel Hill, North Carolina, that maybe Nate Oates' name could be in the mix, maybe not on the top tier list of potential coaching candidates to take over for Hubert Davis, but his name is being mentioned. Do you anticipate that Greg Byrne, whether that's a real thing about him potentially going to North Carolina or not, do you anticipate that Greg Byrne or someone in the Alabama athletic department or administration will try to float the idea of maybe another contract extension for Nate Oates? I mean, his buyout drops to $10 million after the April the 1st. I'm just curious if you've heard anything on the Nate Oates contract extension front.
On that, I have not heard anything that I would be comfortable saying because, I mean, it's just been really speculation there. No real buzz that I've heard. Now, obviously, you'd love to secure him, like you said, and if that's what it takes, I think that's probably what you have to do. You do whatever it takes to keep him. Now, that North Carolina job, I've talked to a few people about that, and it's like you said, Pat. It doesn't seem like he's maybe in the top tier of people that they would, or coaches that they would consider or are going to consider. But again, you know how these coaching searches are. Things happen, things change, and all of a sudden guys move up in the pecking order. So never say never, but yeah, I mean, it's something to certainly watch.
He is Rodney Orr, Tighter Insider. That's where you can find her, TighterInsider.com, at Tighter Insider there on Twitter. Rodney, we always appreciate the time. Enjoy opening day. Go Braves tomorrow.
And Pat's a Cardinals guy.
No,
That's right.
No Cardinals, just Braves.
Are you a Houston Astros fan?
Pat, I liked nothing Texas when I grew up, out there, to be honest with you. I pulled against every team that was associated with that state, moving from Alabama back then, it was tough. But no, I am more of an Astros fan now, and Texas fans and Texas professional teams in
Gotcha.
general.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I've always liked the A's.
Oh, okay. Good franchise. Good franchise. Were you a Kansas City
Won a lot of
A's?
championships back in the early '70s. Sal
Yeah.
Bando,
When you say good
all those guys.
franchise.
Vita Blue.
Well, I meant back in the day.
Okay.
What when he became a fan, it was a good franchise.
Yes, it was a
Reggie
good franchise.
Jackson
back
was
in the day.
there.
Yeah.
Yes. I didn't know if you were a Kansas City A's fan or then you were an Oakland A's fan. I was just
It was Oakland,
Okay.
in the early '70s. Yeah,
They were
so
good.
That was more of that.
Love the uniforms, the
When
white
you
cleats.
when you would go to the honky tonk and wear your
Your
hot
white-
pants,
your white blue
would you
jeans.
would you ever wear yellow socks with patent leather white shoes?
Yeah, it looked like Vita Blue.
No, I did not do that. I wore camel skin boots,
Camel
and it was
skin.
a disco place. So
Camel skin.
camel skin.
Nice.
Did you wear Wranglers?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I wore Wranglers, and when I came to school at Alabama, I brought some bull skin boots. I bought goat skin and had elephants, and had all these guys from up north asking me to borrow my boots.
Did they really?
Yeah,
So how many
sure
pair of
did.
boots did you have when you were at the University of
Oh,
Alabama?
probably about 4. That they were pretty expensive, even for back then. $250, whatever it was. Those skin boots,
Yeah.
because they were Tony Llamas.
Huh.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That was the brand name. And those guys from up north say, "Oh man, I bet you, what'd you pay for these? $75?" I'm
So
like,
let me ask you a
"No."
question. How are you at a discotheque? I mean, that was pretty. I mean, because I heard you could dance. I mean, how were you being able to dance with those boots on in the discotheque?
You were just
Those-
waiting
those
for them when they
slicky-
came
those-
off the floor, Rodney. I
Yeah,
know what you were
that's
doing.
it.
Hey, those slick bottoms on those boots, man,
Yeah.
you can just glide across that floor.
Yeah.
He was
Telling
like he was moonwalking before moonwalking was legit.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
Trendsetter.
man, cannot wait to see the documentary. of
Did you
the,
ever wear the cowboy boots with shorts?
No, I did not.
Just
do
making
that.
sure.
No,
making
no,
sure.
No, I didn't do that. It was all Wranglers back in the day.
There you go. All right.
Wranglers. They fit well.
Yes, they do.
They did.
Yes, they
It's
do.
when I could wear them a lot better than I can wear them today. So
They fit a lot differently than I've got a pair of Wranglers that I will wear just for specific occasions.
Just for your line dancing on Wednesday
Yes.
nights.
Yeah, my line dancing league that I'm in.
we couldn't get them tight enough back in the day.
You
Landon.
can get them plenty
I mean,
tight now.
They were painted on, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh my
These
goodness.
will make you sing soprano.
Mm. So I assume you're wearing boot cut, right?
Yeah.
With the boots.
Yeah, it was kind of a narrow boot cut, not too booty, so to speak.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, they had to be that right fit, and but it was it's kind of crazy because when Urban Cowboy came out, all of a sudden all the disco stuff started kind of flushing out,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody that used to wear those Angel Flight silky stuff to dance in discos was, you see them with one of the bandana around their neck, cowboy hat on, all that. They were cowboys now. We called them Coca-Cola cowboys.
Yeah. So you said you had 4 pairs of boots when you were a student at the University of Alabama. How many cowboy hats did you have?
Well, I was not a big hat guy, you
Okay.
know. I was not a big hat guy, to be honest with you. Now I did have the belt. I did have a buckle. Now, believe it or not, I had a belt buckle on my Western belt, and it was an Alabama belt buckle.
Yeah,
I mean,
how
the
about that?
buckle.
Yeah.
Do you
It
still
was
do you
really
still have
big.
that? Do you still have that?
I don't have it. I wish I would have kept some of this stuff, but no, I don't have it anymore. As a matter of fact, I don't even have my boots anymore.
What?
I don't know where they all went, but yeah, I don't have them. I don't wear them anymore. I haven't worn them in years and years and years. So
Somebody
It's
right
not as
now is like,
comfortable.
"See, honey, these camel skin boots. I bet they were."
I tell you
Rodney
what,
Orr's."
though, I will tell you this. They when you first get them, they're not broken in, but once those things break in, it's like a glove, man.
Yes,
It's like a glove.
it really
They
is.
fit really well.
I've got 2 pairs. Got
Do
some.
you really?
Yeah, I've got ostrich and I got the bull.
Tony Llamas?
No, they are not Tony Llamas. I know they're not
Okay.
Tony Llamas, but I can't tell you. Can't tell you what they were.
There
It
you
was
go.
one of the western where we did a show from up there.
In Tuscaloosa.
I got you.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got you.
They said we need you to we need you in some boots.
Oh, there
and
you
I
go.
said, come on, let's
Okay.
go. Yeah.
Well, Rodney, now
That's
that we
good.
have gone down memory lane with you, we can tell you goodbye.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys.
Thanks,
Enjoyed it.
Rodney.
Hey, have a good
Take
weekend,
care.
Rodney. Talk to you
Take
soon.
care. You guys too.
Thank you so much. Rodney Orr joined us on the Higginbotham hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Some of the big takeaways, what he told us about the quarterback position, namely. We'll get into that. Three-man front continues on Jocks.
Eleven 25 here on Jocks. Coming up in about 20 minutes from now, we'll talk to Rob Pate, former Auburn DB, get his feelings on spring ball that's been going on down on the plains. If you're a homeowner or business owner in central Alabama, you need a roof that you can count on. And with the weather changing every other day, it seems like bad storms are just all around the horizon. You need to call Abide Roofing at 205 577 7338. Abide offers free, no obligation roof inspections. Even if you don't see those missing shingles, you could have some problems up there because of the heavy wind, hail damage, heavy storms, or just the wintertime. You need to get Travis Lloyd and his great local roofing team to get on your roof and give you that no obligation free look at your roof. And they can give you a plan and they can discuss what needs to happen to fix those loose shingles, or talk to your insurance company, because Abide Roofing are insurance claim masters. They can help you navigate the process and making sure that you get the coverage that you deserve, just like they did for me. They offer complete roofing solutions, including T38, or simply go
Our visit with Rodney Orr of Tider Insider. Something interesting in quarterback position, one that everyone's paying close attention to. Austin Mack, Keelan Russell. It sounds like from Rodney, and it's early on, Pat, but it seems like Austin Mack. A little bit of a separation, a little bit of a difference between the two when observed a few days ago.
Yes, that's been some of the words I've been getting out of Tuscaloosa. Also been told, as you discussed with Rodney, the offensive line continues, at least at this juncture, to be an area that they are feeling more confident in as practice goes on. And you think about this, I was looking at the spring schedule for Alabama, and I know Auburn's lines up relatively close to what Alabama is doing right now from a practice schedule standpoint for the spring. But you've only got, like, really, Landrum, I think maybe 4 to 5 more practices for Alabama before their A-Day. So the hay's about to be in the barn. You know, you're talking about coaching evaluations and, you know, getting ready to get into off-season workouts and start looking at fall camp. You know, what's the pecking order? What's the depth chart going to look like? So there's only limited opportunities. They practiced this morning at 9:15. Nobody's available for the media. Then they'll practice again tomorrow. We'll hear from Coach DeBoer tomorrow. First opportunity that we've heard from him in about a week. And then they'll have a few practices next week. And then all of a sudden you got only one practice the next week, and then you got A-Day.
Yeah, but at least for that coaching staff, you don't have to worry about a spring transfer portal window where you're not having to wonder, hey, can we count on this guy?
Who you got now is who you got.
That's who you got. And I think that makes it a lot easier for most coaches, whether it's retaining guys or, look, we don't need to hold out hope that we're going to go and add this guy, or we can go and potentially get this guy from somewhere else. It is what it is at this point, so you work with what you got.
All right, so we've already told you a little bit of news around the Southeastern Conference in basketball today. The indications are that Will Wade, they've not yet officially fired their basketball coach, but all indications are that that is going to happen very soon, probably at any moment. And Will Wade will get on a plane a little bit after lunch from Raleigh, North Carolina, fly to Baton Rouge. He will be the head coach of the men's basketball team again. You remember he was fired because of the NCAA FBI probe in his basketball program before.
Well, if he was not officially considered an employee, would this be considered tampering?
Doesn't even matter.
I guess by definition, it would be tampering because he's on someone else's roster. He's being paid by someone else at the moment, but he's being tampered with.
Yeah. Also, in the SEC in basketball, this just in, it's being reported moments ago that Boogie Fland is coming back to the Gators in 2026-27, and that was released by their NIL arm. I think it's called the Florida Victorious. They sent this out a few moments ago that Boogie Fland is coming back. They're going to have a lot of roster turnover because they got a lot of guys to come back this year. Those guys will be moving on, but Boogie Fland has decided he is going to come back for another year at Florida.
Got to shoot the ball better.
Kind of went MIA.
Yep. 800-239-WJOX. A lot of buzz surrounding LSU. Will Wade potentially leaving NC State. We'll get to your phone calls. 349-450 there on the text line. It is the opening day edition of Three Man Front. We're right here for it on Jocks. 11:34, three-man front as we continue. Opening day, Major League Baseball. We got part of the Sweet 16 coming up tonight, possibly departing NC State, where he's currently employed, and rejoining the folks there in Baton Rouge, heading up that basketball program. Any of the latest news that comes out will certainly get. We got games tonight. We got games tomorrow, all through the weekend. The Finnick, you want to take your sports bar experience to a new level. You can do it with our friends at the Finnick. It starts with the pregame. If you want to go with the Conecuh corn dogs that they're so famous for, you can do that. They got the corn ribs or the street crema as well. But the craft signature wings, the artisan flatbreads, the pregame nachos, rammer jammer shrimp, they've got all that you can think of as far as snacks, handhelds, appetizers, but also the fork and knife. That's right. They hand cut their own steaks there at the Finnick, and they also have fresh Gulf seafood if you opt for that. They got drink specials going on. Alabama watch party coming up tomorrow night. You want to be there tonight, though. Enjoy all the hoops action, all the Major League Baseball, and how about some UFL on the weekend? It's the Finnick, 1630 2nd Avenue South. 1630 2nd Avenue South. Doors open at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Make sure you tell them Landrum from Jock sent you.
So Auburn basketball, they win last night against Nevada, 75-69. It's off now to the NIT Final Four. It will be played on Thursday, April the 2nd, 8:30 p.m. tip-off there in Indianapolis. They will take on the Illinois State Redbirds. That will be
AOX. Joe has been waiting patiently, wants to talk LSU. Hello, Joe. Welcome in.
Morning, fellas. How y'all doing?
Doing great.
I grew up 5 minutes off the campus. And I'm a diehard LSU fan. But I tell you what, the past 5 months, you have to say they're the most dysfunctional university there is. You fire your football coach, then you fire your athletic director, then the governor chirps in. Temporary athletic director, say he's athletic director, then he's not. Then you go through Lane Kiffin stuff. Now you're going to the Will Wade stuff, and you still got a coach there I think they're doing wrong to. If I were a McMahon, I would have walked last week. But you'd have to say LSU is the most dysfunctional athletic program the past 5 months there is.
Yes, I agree. And the only reason we brought that up, and that's a good point, Joe, about McMahon just telling him, you know what, you can take this job and shove it. But the problem is contractually, that's what they wanted him to do. Otherwise, he would not have been paid the remainder of that full amount.
You would think there'd be some kind of retribution he could get for the way he's treated. I mean,
it's pretty sorry.
The game's played.
Yep. I agree. And you as an LSU fan or somebody that grew up there outside of that campus, you can appreciate what's going on or not appreciate what's going on.
Oh, my daddy used to work with the LSU sports programs. I used to party with the basketball players back in the late 70s, early 80s when Greg Cook and Dwayne Scales and all of them were there. Good times. But now it's just a big fiasco.
Yep. It's the nature of college athletics. It's not just LSU doing it. It's everybody else. It's win now and at any cost.
Yep, I guess the baseball coach will be next after you won a national championship, seeing as how they're not having a good year now.
Maybe he gets an extra year, but who knows with that program, right?
Yeah, and then they'll kill him. She'll be next too.
No, not Kim. No, she's a mainstay. She's getting a statue.
Yeah, they got D.D. Bro back in her. Have a good day, fellas.
Joe, thank you.
I pointed this out earlier. The thing that's the most impressive is you fire Brian Kelly, you pay him $54 million. You give Lane Kiffin a new contract worth $91 million. Reportedly, you're giving Lane Kiffin an additional $40 million to go sign players. Now, the McMahon buyout, once they fire him for the basketball program, is going to be anywhere between $8 and $11 million. You got to buy out Will Wade at NC State. That's going to cost you $3 to $5 million. Reportedly, LSU has told Will Wade that we're going to give you anywhere between $12 and $15 million to, resurrect this roster and put together your players for 2026-27. That's a lot of money. Love to know where it's coming from.
I would too. But it's coming from somewhere. So somebody is supporting this decision, whoever it may be that can stroke those big checks. Will Wade will have LSU in the basketball in the NCAA tournament next year.
I don't think there's any doubt. I mean, look what he did for NC State this year,
You're going to get back to the tournament. I just don't agree with how business has been conducted, especially Brian Kelly, that whole deal. Okay. But this deal with Matt McMahon, that's just low down.
Yeah, they just left him hanging.
It's not right.
And I thought the point that you brought, if you missed our interview with Blake Lovell from Southeastern 16, Landrum asked him an outstanding question in regards to Matt McMahon, because it just appears to me that the last 2 years that they have not been committed to basketball, and you're asking this guy to literally go to a gunfight with a knife in his hand.
It's almost like he is a seat filler at an award show. Hey, Matt. Yeah. We're excited about it. Not knowing what was going to happen with Will Wade, but keeping your eye on that situation. Then Will, he gets the job at McNeese, gets to the tournament. Then the NC State, they brought him back. So now that one job buffer or that 2 job buffer and enough time had elapsed where you feel like you can bring him back. But Matt McMahon and that staff, just like Pete Golding and the folks that were left over in Oxford, all these guys are talking. They're communicating what's going on.
And I will say this about Matt McMahon's basketball team. Not one time did I watch LSU this season. Did they quit?
No, you're right.
And they played hard for him.
They did.
And you could just tell that the administration was not behind him.
No.
And that's sad for him. He's going to get a nice payday. He's not going to be in a bread line. He will coach again if he wants to. I don't have any doubts whatsoever, but it's just funny how you don't put all the resources behind your men's basketball program, and now you're going to bring back, a cheat and a guy that, had the FBI squaring down at him like he was about to go to jail, and you fire him, and then you're bringing him back. So,
well, and it does have to do with perception and having Will Wade heading up your basketball program again. I think that excites people that Matt McMahon didn't excite and maybe provoke to write a check or to give to this fund, whatever. It still doesn't change the people in the most elementary level deserve to be treated with respect.
Yeah.
And how you do business. We're seeing less of that in the business that is college athletics these days.
When we come back on Three Man Front, Rob Pate will join us, former Auburn DB. Talk a little Auburn spring ball. That's next.
11:45, three-man front. We continue here on this Thursday, Major League Baseball opening day for some. Braves in action as they open it up at Truist tomorrow night. You're home for the Braves right here on Jocks in our network all season long. As Barrett Slee is going to be joining us coming 16, a lot of conversation about that. Will Wade, a lot of conversation about him potentially departing. Tea leaves kind of telling us that he could be NC State to be reunited with the folks there in Baton Rouge. A lot of buzz about that, Pat, going the chairs in the shuffle, and what could that mean not only for LSU basketball, but potentially what that means for NC State and that domino effect.
So we heard from Alex Golesh just a couple of days ago as Auburn continues their spring practice. Matter of fact, today is practice in the spring as Alex Golesh getting everybody whipped into shape as they get ready for summer workouts. And then, man, before you know it, fall camp. Joining us now on the Higginbotham Hotline, former Auburn DB, entrepreneur and father, just a wonderful human being.
Kiwanis Man of the Year.
Yes, all the above. Rob Pate joins us now on Three-Man Front. Hey, Rob.
Hey, man. How are y'all?
We're doing fantastic. How's your brackets? How's your family's brackets? Did you let one of your kids household?
I'm following far. That's ESPN first. Of the opportunity, guys.
Alex was pointing far, and he's football team coming out of the early days of this camp with Alex Golesh and his coaching staff.
Yeah, I have, and I think the biggest piece probably is the accountability part that the players will have as it relates to their coaches. I don't know that there was full accountability. As far as making demands, setting a standard. If that standard's not met, then that the consequence is you don't play. And in the NIL era, that's become increasingly difficult for coaches to manage. And, I think we saw that with the way that they went and utilized NIL, this new staff, and tried to maintain their roster. If they couldn't come to terms with, what they valued, the value they placed on a guy, they let him walk. And similarly, if guys don't do, hold themselves to the standard that's been set by the coaching staff, then I think they'll see that, they don't play very much. So I think that ultimately that's what you got to have. I mean, you've obviously guys are going to get paid money, and some of them probably feel like they deserve more, and some of them probably get paid more than they should. But all of them are going to have to answer and be accountable for their production and how they practice, how they live life. And I'm not sure that was as enforced in the previous coaching staff.
Rob, we know what the expectations were for at least Brian Harsin and Hugh Freeze in their respective year ones. Roster makeup, nature of college athletics, a little bit different than when those two guys took over in their opening campaign. For Alex Golesh, you look at the schedule next year, everything that's in place. What should a reasonable expectation be for the Auburn fan?
That's always the question, isn't it? I mean, it's I don't know that you can put a win-loss answer to that. I think it's one of those it when you see it. If this team is competing and they're improving, I think that there's a little bit of expectation rise when you have a quarterback that has been in this system with this coaching staff with a lot of these players, and he's been as productive as he has. I think that that raises the eyebrows of people, and I think you hope that offensively you can have things in a really good place as you hit the ground running because of how important that position is. But I don't know. The schedule is the issue. You're as good as the opponents you play sometimes, and the hard thing about this era of football is it's so difficult to get our bearings on the personnel and of your own team. I mean, it's hard enough to figure out what is our offensive line going to look like? Who did we lose and who did we go get? I have no idea what Oklahoma or LSU or some of these other schools have done, and so you don't know what the competition looks like until you start playing games on Saturday. And we used to be able to kind of see a team build and know that, hey, this is a year it looks like they turned the corner. You just don't know that anymore, and so it's a hard thing. But I do like the fact that they've got a lot of guys on defense and able to keep Dirk in that system. I feel like that's going to be beneficial. And then you've got quarterback play, and Lord knows that quarterback play has been such an Achilles heel for Auburn, and so hopefully we can get over the hump there.
I wanted to ask you, Rob, and we all understand that the game has changed dramatically just in the last 4 to 5 years, and it is night and day different than when you played at Auburn. But I am curious, like when you were in spring ball, I guess what was the number one point of emphasis with the coaches and your defensive coaches? Was it setting expectations, setting a new scheme, building that depth chart, all the above? Like, what was some of the major goals for you and for the defensive guys going into spring when you were at Auburn?
I feel like that predominantly it was trying to make sure that we were physical. They wanted spring practice was much more physical than anything you did during the season. It's probably equivalent to what you would do in summer, but the physicality was really ramped up. So a lot of drill work, a lot of live work that you just can't afford to do in the season for risk of injury. And then I think they want to take your base stuff, the things that they would look at as bread and butter, and they want you to perfect it. And they want you to be able to do that in your sleep. I mean, we can always go back to this play or run this scheme and feel like you can do this with your eyes closed. Where the guy next to you fits in this defense or where your blocking scheme is going to open up a hole. And they try to perfect that. There is no scheming because you don't have an opponent, and the defensive coaches will get tired of the offense. Like they start scheming against one another the longer you go into summer and the longer you go into spring, because they get tired of seeing, the same play work, and they're just competitive, but it's mainly just honing in on the basics and making sure that your individual basic fundamentals are being enhanced.
Was it spring practice or fall camp, 2-a-days, back when you guys used to have them, that the coaches made you go out on the intramural field that had broken beer bottle glass and rocks?
That was fall camp. That was terrible.
That wasn't spring ball. That was actual fall camp, right?
Yeah, that was fall camp.
That's where the fraternities and the sororities played. But yeah, and you had people that would go and hang out and watch club lacrosse and whatever, and drink beer and whatever else. And
so
Rob,
lots of people watching.
Rob and the football team were out there practicing,
pulling glass out of their kneecaps.
Yeah. I mean, we had to walk like half a mile to get to the practice field, and I mean, we obviously didn't have the same level of facilities they have now, and I think they were trying to protect the field and the grass to get us through the season, so we weren't practicing on dirt by the time Alabama rolled around on the schedule.
Man, things were different. Just 25, 30 years ago, how much different they were. Wow.
I know. I'm an old man.
We all are.
Yeah, and hey, you said I'm a great grandfather, as in like a really terrific one,
yes.
not as in
no.
I was not trying to.
No, we said
no.
I'm not that old.
No, but, you're a wonderful grandfather.
Yes,
I am old enough to be a grandfather.
Yeah.
All right, Rob, we'll have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys. Y'all take care, War Eagle.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Dr. Pate. Sweet frog, entrepreneur, and so many other things. And he is a wonderful and